Welcome into the Lucas and Lucas podcast. Lucas Frankel alongside Mike Lucas. The NFL is officially back, and so is spitting at your opponents. Could not believe what Jalen Carter did on Thursday night. Before the
Hmm.
first snap of the game, he spits at Dak Prescott, gets ejected. Dak apparently started it by spitting in his direction before that, but either way, I have spit at someone in the past.
What I need to hear the story. This is more important than anything Jalen Carter wrote.
Only one time, it was the summer of 2005 at summer camp.
Oh, so you were a kid. It's a little different as a kid than as a grown man.
Well, yeah, I would never do. I'd like to believe I'd never be able to do it as a grown man, but I was wrestling a kid and a guy much bigger than me, much stronger than me, much more powerful and threatening than me. Said something along the lines of like, "Wow, you're a pathetic wrestler," or like something that just like set me off. So I just looked at him and like right in his face. And actually, and I did it another time too, but that was whatever. I actually have done it twice at summer camp, so I'm a terrible human being. And this guy was about to literally kill me, but thankfully a counselor jumped in at the last second and was able to restrain him. I was ready for my life to be over in that moment, but here's the memo: don't spit at anybody.
Yes, spitting bad. Spitting bad.
But yeah,
In sports, in life, in everything. Don't spit.
football. But other than that, it was a weird game. Football's back. Um, They had just been this huge momentum play where Miles Sanders fumbled after a horrific penalty call against Reed Blankenship. The Cowboys only they're about to take the lead, and all of a sudden Miles Sanders fumbles, and there's an hour weather delay, and NBC did not take a single commercial break. It was unbelievable. They were just vamping for a whole hour. I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? They're just going, talking, tossing. It was wild, wild stuff. The Eagles end up getting the win. Crazy if you had the over in that game. That sucks for you. There was, I believe it was 21-20 at halftime for a total of 41 points. The over under for the game was 47 and a half, and there were 3 points total scored in the second half. Bizarre game. CeeDee Lamb could not catch a cold. Uh, Micah Parsons, I don't know how much of a difference he would have made in that game because the Cowboys offense couldn't make plays when it mattered most. CeeDee couldn't catch anything. So I don't know what else you took away from that game, but the NFL's back.
Yeah, it was great to have real football. Full disclosure. I went to bed when the rain delay happened. I've slept so poorly the last couple of days, Frank. I was like, I don't know what's coming back. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I went to bed. I rewatched it this morning. I thought Dak played a really good game, Frank. Dak looked really good. He had a couple big time throws that weren't caught by his receivers. He had the one to Jake Ferguson that ended up resulting in the penalty you just mentioned before with Reed Blankenship that Ferguson should have just caught for a touchdown. He had another great throw to CeeDee Lamb, two of them deep that had a chance to be big connections. George Pickens dropped a perfectly thrown deep ball. But I thought Dak looked really good. And when your quarterback is playing at an incredibly high level, the rest of the team doesn't, it matters, but a good quarterback playing at that level elevates everyone else around him and can put you in a position to win games. That's why it's the most important position in sports. And that's why if you have a quarterback, regardless of the rest of your roster, you have a chance to win. And if you don't, you could have a great roster around a subpar quarterback and you probably won't win. So I thought Dak was impressive. I thought Micah could have done a better job containing Jalen Hurts than Dallas did and
Micah.
allow Micah Parsons. Had he been there?
Oh, I was like, you're like criticizing the way Micah Parsons
No, no,
played.
no, no. Had the Cowboys had Micah Parsons,
Like, oh,
maybe
what
Jalen
game did
Hurts
you
doesn't.
watch?
Maybe Jalen Hurts doesn't run around for two touchdowns in the first half. There's a couple of plays I saw on Twitter from last year's Cowboys Eagles game that had Micah chasing down Hurts. So who knows? What I do know is CeeDee Lamb, who is one of the two or three, four best receivers in football, had an off night and had a terrible night to have an off night because Dak put a couple of those throws in a position for a number one receiver, a big time player to make a big time play, and he was unable to come through. I think he'll be fine in the long run, but it was great to have football back. And Frank, I'm going to make this selfish real quick. I'm going to watch the Browns and Giants this weekend. I have a good chance. I have a good feeling that the offensive competency I saw from both teams last night is going to resemble none of the football I watch on Sunday.
Well, you mentioned Jalen Hurts running, and by the way, I like to report there were zero injuries with the tush push. So I don't know where that whole narrative started that the tush push is a dangerous play. I don't know why they even are talking about that. Just absolutely preposterous. I hate the tush push. The reason why it should be banned is because it's a boring, non-competitive play. It's like the extra point when it used to be at the 2 yard line. It was automatic, and they got rid of it. They said, "All right, we have to make this a more compelling play." So they moved it back to the 15-yard line, and the success rate went from like 99.9% to like 85%. And the whole notion of the tush push being dangerous, I thought it's hilarious. And as for Dak, I thought there were a lot of throws that were like hit guys right in the hands that his receivers just dropped. Um, but
Yeah, he was good. Dak played awesome last night. The Cowboys did not lose because of a quarterback issue. They lost for some lackluster stuff in other areas. But I thought Dak may have been the best player on the field last night. I thought he played a really good football game, Frank.
so, all right, enough of Cowboys Eagles. That's over with. We have to talk about Brian Walsh, the umpire who was there for the Yankees Astros series. He is the single worst umpire I have ever seen in the history of me watching baseball. He is worse than Angel Hernandez. He
Mm-hmm.
is worse than CB Buckner. This
Mm-hmm.
guy on Wednesday night behind the plate missed 21 calls in the game. 15 went against the Yankees. There was a huge pivotal stretch in the bottom of the eighth inning with the game tied at 4. And in critical situations with Devin Williams on the mound, and listen, Devin Williams should never be in a game with the seventh inning on when the deficit or lead for the Yankees is, I'm gonna say 4 runs. They have to be either winning by
Can't
like
trust him.
five,
Just can't trust him
yeah,
at all.
five or more, winning by or trailing by 5 or trailing by 5. So that has to be the bar for Devin Williams. Beside the point, there were huge pivotal calls that when you watch that little K zone on the broadcast, it hits right in that box and the umpire calls it a ball. And those end up being massive calls, especially with the bases loaded one that resulted in the go ahead run scoring. Just
Yeah.
absolutely preposterous. The Jazz Chisholm one to end the game, clearly about a foot off the plate, called a strike. Just one of the worst strike zones I've ever seen. And you look back at there's clips of him. If you look up this guy's name, is Brian Walsh. Never forget the name. Hashtag fire Brian Walsh.
Fire Brian.
There's videos of him like umpiring an Orioles Blue Jays game, a ball literally right down the middle. Could not paint it any better. Calls it a ball. There's another one about him doing a Diamondbacks game earlier in the year and just horrifically missed calls in that game. And then on Wednesday night, and when I say I lost my mind when this happened, there was a line drive to Ryan McMahon with a runner on first. He catches it, tries to, try to get the throw out to first for a potential double play. And there he is, Brian Walsh signaling balls in play. I mean, clear as day it was on the transfer. I like screamed. I said I want to like fly down to Houston and do terrible things to Brian Walsh. Like my temper just exploded in that moment. I could not believe that this incompetent and listen, I feel bad for Brian Walsh. He's clearly not equipped to be a Major League Baseball umpire. He doesn't know the strike zone. He doesn't know the rules. Should not be out there. He's putting himself in a horrible position. Like he clearly needs to be in a different profession. And the fact that Major League Baseball does nothing to these people, I don't know if Rob Emmer calls them, but there's no reprimandation, no punishments, nothing. They just get to scoot free, go to the next series like nothing ever happened. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I have been anti-robot ump this whole time, Frank. I like the human element to baseball. I hate challenges in basketball late in games. I just think it slows down the game. I think baseball actually done a pretty good job with their challenge system, keeping the game moving. I like the human element of it because it brings on conversations like this. But at some point, there's a line where you just have to realize this is wrong. And this dude is not capable of being behind the plate or having some sort of outcome in a major league game for teams that are competing for playoff spots, Frank. And I think you said it in your little rant there, but in that Houston game with the Yankees, Walsh missed 21 calls, according to the robot strike zone. 21 missed calls, 15, I believe is the number, went against the Yankees.
Yep.
When one team is operating with a strike zone that they can't be consistently aware of, that's a bigger issue than having a bad strike zone. If an umpire is consistently bad, at least the team understands, okay, he's given an extra inch or two on the outside. You can adjust over the course of a 9-inning game. The calls he was missing, Frank, were so inconsistent. Sometimes the outside pitch was a strike, sometimes it's a ball. Sometimes it was a couple inches low, strike. You can't have that. You just can't. And it makes it incredibly frustrating to watch a team that is already frustrating in its own right. The Yankees give us migraines for their own reasons, take out the umpires, Frank. To then lose to a team like the Astros, which doesn't help either because they're cheaters, and then they get helped by this I have gotten very good, Frank, at not being aggravated by baseball. I've gotten very good. Football still drives me nuts. Basketball depends on the situation. Baseball, I've gotten very good at just enjoying baseball because I like baseball. I lost my damn mind when I went back and saw the replays and watched ball after ball be called a strike after strike be called a ball. And to punch out Jazz Chisholm with with men on base in a tight game like that.
So Bellinger just homered to make it a
Oh,
nine,
he had just sorry. He had just homer to make it 8-7.
nine,
Chisholm's
not
up.
to make it to make it 8-7. Yeah.
Yeah, Chisholm gets up. All the momentum's in the Yankees' favor. Granted, they still have to score a run, but to get punched out on a call like that frankly wasn't even close, it's unacceptable. And I lost my mind. I don't really lose my mind at baseball anymore. So,
And this just happened. Aaron Judge is returning to the outfield for the first time since July 25th
are you serious?
here on Friday night against the Toronto Blue Jays. So huge news for the Yankees because now they can put Stan at DH and not have to worry about
Him getting hurt in the field.
running around and possibly screwing up games, whatnot. But Aaron Judge back in the field, huge sigh of relief.
That is big news.
So
Legit.
we'll see how he looks out there on Friday night. One other thing I want to talk about. So the Yankees, as I mentioned, are playing the Toronto Blue Jays. Huge 3-game set. Yankees enter this game 3 games back of Toronto for first place in the AL East. So the Yankees have been absolutely atrocious against the Red Sox and Blue Jays, especially this season. But the MLB schedulers are, I don't know what their motives are, but this is the second time this has happened. There is no excuse for having the Yankees play against a Houston Astros at 7:40 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday night and then having to play that game, which ends around, 11:15 p.m. Eastern time. The Yankees don't leave, the Houston area probably until like 1 a.m. They don't get back to the New York area until like 5 a.m. And then they have to play that night against the Toronto Blue Jays, who had Thursday off and are well rested, ready to go to face the Yankees in a huge AL East clash. This happened a couple weeks ago with the Yankees and the Red Sox. The Red Sox had that Thursday off. The Yankees had to play a night game. I can't remember off the top of my head where it was, but it was, it may have been somewhere like in the Midwest. And the Yankees had to fly back, that night, got back around 4 or 5 a.m. Carlos Rodon's wife tweeted that Carlos Rodon walked in his house at 6:06 a.m. Eastern time. And then the Yankees have to go there and play. They have 3 huge series coming up against the Blue Jays, Tigers, and Red Sox. And it is so ridiculous that baseball couldn't play that game at 2:05 p.m. Eastern time. I get you want to do your TV ratings crap, but this is way more important than TV ratings. The Yankees are trying to compete for the division. The Blue Jays got to go to bed at 10 p.m. Eastern time last night, get a full night's sleep, and the Yankees come back basically like zombies at 7 a.m. in the morning and have to go play a game 12 hours later. Make it make sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Rob Manfred, the fact that he allows this is almost, it's distasteful. It's preposterous.
Frank, you're right and wrong at the same time. You're right because it is obnoxious. I don't know if I go as far as preposterous, but it is certainly a disadvantage for New York. I can't say with good faith because I don't know the travel schedules for all 30 baseball teams. How many times the Yankees have been the benefactor in these travel situations where they had a night off or they
Feels
didn't
like
have
none.
to travel. So I'm sure it's happened. The baseball schedules are impossible to predict. There's no way you knew these two teams would be fighting for a way.
No. Because you look at the baseball schedule, getaway days. Most of the time on getaway days in baseball, the league
play early.
recognizes that and they'll play the day
Yeah,
games so that teams
they
can
do.
travel
Yeah,
back.
I get that. I'm just saying, unless I had the data in front of me that said this is the third time it's happened to the Yankees, no team in baseball has had it happen more than once.
Like I said, it happened before a Red Sox series and it
No,
happened.
no, no. I know. I'm saying I hear you, but I don't know if it's happened to the Pirates, if the Dodgers, if the Rock, like all those teams. I don't know. So this may be this only 2 times all season it happens to the Yankees, and every team in baseball has it happened 2 times. It's just a bad timing considering the opponents and the stakes of the games. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this, even though it is absolutely 1,000,000,000% a disadvantage for New York tonight against Toronto.
It's more about so like the Dodgers are playing the Orioles. Orioles had Thursday off. Dodgers were in Pittsburgh on Thursday night, and they play in Baltimore tonight. So the Dodgers had to deal with a similar thing. So it does happen. It just feels like it only happened to the Yankees ahead of like the biggest series of the season. It happened before that four-game
Yeah.
series against the Red Sox, and now it happens before, a huge, monumental series against the Blue Jays. So it's just more about the timing of everything than anything else. Like,
And that's why I just think it's more unfortunate and circumstantial than it is like Major League Baseball out to get the Yankees. So
but
I'm
the,
I'm not I'm
but
not going to work myself into a tither
there's
over
no
this.
harm in baseball scheduling that game. First of all, against you're putting it up against the NFL, against Week One, the one of the most viewed games of the first football's back game. You could have scheduled that game at 4:05 p.m. 3:05 p.m. Eastern time. Game would have been over before that football game pregame even starts, and everybody wins. But instead, they got to do this for whatever reason. It's just there's just certain things they do that make absolutely no sense, and
That's fair. That's fair.
it's a continuous theme with baseball. The Manfred Man, don't even get me started on that. I had a couple other things here in terms of baseball. I made my
Fire
czar.
them off here. Let's hear your baseball takes so we can talk Kawhi in a little
Oh
bit.
yeah. So when you look at baseball stadiums, there should never be a situation where you hit a ball that's like a home run that you're not sure if it was a home run because it hit something that you weren't sure was in home run territory. The ones that stick out are the left center field in Houston where like there's this yellow line and a brick wall. Like there should always be a clear, you know,
A home
clear
run's
and
a home run.
obvious.
It goes over the fence.
Yeah, goes over the fence, fan catches it. It should be clear and obvious. There's never like hit a wall and have to look at it. Oh, did it hit above a line? That's a home run. And Anaheim's kind of ridiculous too. In City Field, the Mets have the center field wall, but right above the center field wall is like this additional black wall, and like it's gonna be tricky to tell whether what it hit off of it. It just these should never be. This should never be that hard to figure out. Either it's home run or it's not. And I
I agree.
can't get over how they constructed. Well, I don't even know what it's called anymore. The field in Houston. I know it's not Minute Maid Park anymore. They changed it, but I'll call it Minute Maid Park because that's what it is. That left center field area. It's just who designed that? Like who in their right minds was like, let's create a baseball stadium with just a wall and and a line on it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I just can't. I would love to be in a fly on the wall for those design meetings and hear what they have to say.
All
And
right,
my
next
other
thing.
couple other ones are: if you retire from a sport, you are permanently retired. You cannot be reinstated. You can
Okay.
announce that you're stepping away for a period of time, but the word retirement is permanent.
Okay. Next.
The home plate umpires are banned from making swing calls.
Okay.
It should be
It should be
rule
the
number
first or
one in
third base.
baseball.
I agree. I agree with this one.
There's no way a home plate umpire can see a 98-mile-an-hour pitch. And if a guy swung at it at the same time, you should be, as a home plate umpire, your number one focus should be watching that ball, seeing if it crossed the plate, if it was high or low, not whether a guy offered at the pitch.
Agree.
That is like Jose Caballero got ejected the other day because he was mad the umpire didn't check. Like these umpires, you don't have to be a hero. You have other umpires out there who are watching other things. You don't have eight eyes. You have two eyes whose sole focus should be on the ball, not on the
Agree.
swing. And I never want to see it again.
All right, next.
I guess this is be my last one. It's kind of obvious, but the NBA draft, like Adam Silver's got to recognize trades. We can't be trading draft picks and the
You have an NBA draft take now. The draft was
well,
like
it's on
three
my
months
list.
ago, and we've talked about this before. It's so stupid they don't announce the trades. They don't.
Well, that's when I
The
got
NFL
it.
does it right. Major League Baseball doesn't have trades in the draft. The NBA does it so backwards, so wrong. If we all know it's a trade, don't let Malawak put on a Houston Rockets hat when we know he's getting traded to the Phoenix Suns. Just let him put on a Suns hat. It makes it so much easier. It's stupid the league does this. And before, I'll take the rant away from you, Frank, because you don't have to do it. It is dumb. It makes no sense, and Adam Silver should change it. There you go. Let's talk football. Or
And the other Yankee note is that
Steve
Anthony
Ballmer.
Volpe not in the lineup here on Friday night. They're going with Jose Caballero. So
Interesting.
we'll see if Volpe is back in the lineup on Saturday against the Toronto Blue Jays. But Jose Caballero is starting shortstop. So elsewhere in football, before we get to the NFL, we have to talk about Bill Belichick's North Carolina Tar Heels and the fact that Belichick banned the Patriots scouts and anyone affiliated with the organization from interacting with the football program. Just really bizarre considering the fact that Robert Kraft just announced that when Belichick is done coaching, he's going to get a statue. The fact that Mike Vrabel, who played for Belichick for years with the Patriots, won Super Bowls with Belichick with the Patriots, is the head coach of New England now. And Josh McDaniels is there, a guy who was Belichick's offensive coordinator for years. So it's just it's just like what is he trying to accomplish here? Why would you ever want to restrict potential NFL options for your team? So that's why I never really understood that. Um, but either way, Belichick, I think everything about this UNC thing just looks worse and worse. First of all, the way he's acting, the way his team played, they played horrible aside from that first drive. And I'm worried that for him, not worried for myself. I couldn't care less about what he does at this point. He's already making all the money in the world, already has all the money in the world, already has his legacy cemented in terms of the NFL, even though he was, and there's always been nothing without Tom Brady, but that's beside the point. He is on the verge of being a disaster here, and that debut game was an absolute embarrassment. And if they lose to, I hope they lose to Charlotte because that would be freaking hilarious on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have gone worse. It was an absolute disaster, catastrophe. You could pick the adjective you want, but it was horrific. They looked good for 6 minutes, and they didn't look good again till they left the field. And I'm not even sure they looked good doing that. Belichick seems petty by not letting Patriot scouts, and apparently there's another team he won't let in. Comes off incredibly petty, and you're trying to get these kids jobs in the pros, Bill. Like you can't. I understand you have your issues with New England, whatever, but don't take it out on the kids. The only person you're actually hurting by this is your own players, and I hate the look. Listen, Frank, we knew their roster wasn't that talented. They brought in a lot of transfers, not the highest level transfers, but they tried to revamp the roster. They got this kid Gio Lopez at quarterback who never played in a Power Four game before, so he was a giant unknown. I expect this team to get better as the season goes along and Belichick kind of adjusts, but they got punched in the mouth and knocked out in one shot against TCU, man. It could not have gone worse. And then you had the whole debacle of Jordan trying to talk to him on the sideline during the game, and that just it ain't good. Let's just leave it at that, Frank. It ain't good.
I mean, yeah, clearly they don't have the players right now to be a legitimate, team. So, yeah, and the other Belichick's, he's older than Nick Saban, and Saban just retired. So it's like it's not like he's going to be in this for the next, 10 years with the opportunity to, go through all these highs and lows and peaks and valleys of building a powerhouse football program. Like he's on a clock, and I don't know how much longer he's going to be doing this. So this may end up being a complete and utter disaster, kind of like Nick Saban was with the Miami Dolphins. There's a million other coaches you could think of that made a foray into the NFL from college football or vice versa and completely backfired in their face. So I'm not very optimistic that Belichick's going to see any sort of success in college football, and that's his problem, not mine. NFL
Let's
full
do it.
week one. Obviously, we have the Brazil game here on Friday night, but aside from that, the Jets will open against the Steelers. I saw some interesting takes on whether does Aaron Rodgers deserve to be booed, and I think he does deserve to be booed. Like he played for you. Granted, the Jets made the call not to bring him back, but still, he's the enemy, and his tenure went horrifically with the Jets. And I would boo if I was in the stands. I would boo him.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it was I don't want to call it a complete, no, you know what? It was a complete failure in New York, Frank. He was there 2 years. He missed the whole first season due to a torn Achilles in the first series of the first game of the year. And last year, despite what the numbers say, he wasn't good. You watched it. I watched it. He just wasn't good. It is what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. He put up some garbage time numbers. He had a couple games where he looked quasi resemblant of the old Aaron Rodgers, but for the most part, he was scared to take hits. He was scared to throw balls into areas that were contested to protect his stats, and he just frankly wasn't good. And I understand the Jets didn't give up a whole lot to get him. I know it was a second round pick, but it wasn't like they mortgaged their entire future for it. And they took a swing, it didn't work, and the people who were there to take that swing are no longer there. So it was an absolute catastrophic failure. And if the Jets fans want to boo him, they have every right to boo him. The way he left, the way he treated New York and the entire organization during his tenure there, taking time off, missing OTAs for vacations, yada, yada, yada. It's always Aaron Rodgers. I'm bigger than the team. It's about me, 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 not we. And if they want to boo him, Frank, if you want to stand in the front row and tell Aaron Rodgers he sucks and to never come back to New York, I'd say more power to you, brother.
So I was feeling really good about the Jets, and then I saw that Elijah Vera Tucker suffered another season-ending injury.
Yeah,
Third
that's
time in
tough.
five. Third
That's
time in
tough.
5 seasons he had a torn Achilles, and now he's suffered two separate torn triceps, one in the left arm, one in the right arm. And I was literally thinking to myself, like before this came out, like the Jets have a really good offensive line. They got Vera Tucker, they have Olu Fashanu, they got Membu, the guy from Mizzou that they just drafted. So I was like, this could be like a pretty like solid, competitive, scrappy team. And with Fields running the ball and Brees Hall and Braylon Allen. and Garrett Wilson. I was like, and Mason Taylor was supposed to be pretty solid as a tight end. So I was like, you know what, this might be a scrappy team. And then all of a sudden, Barrett Tucker news comes down. I'm like, all right, season's over. Like anytime I get like I like possibly get a hint of excitement with the Jets, it like evaporates like that. Like the whole Rodgers first year, like I was like legitimately excited for like the first time in 10 years, and 4 plays in, torn Achilles done, everything just gone. And it's just like God hates the Jets. It is what it is. But Jets Steelers obviously a big game. Another big game is Browns Bengals.
No, it's not.
Bengals are what Joe Burrow's 1-9 in weeks 1 through 2 of the season in his career. He's lost 7 straight games in weeks 1 and 2. If they can't go out there and beat Joe Flacco, that is Zach Taylor might get fired after week 1. If they lose this
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
Zach Taylor might get fired.
He won't get fired, but it would be an absolute disaster for Cincinnati to lose this game. They changed their entire preseason strategy, Frank. This is the first time Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase have played at any preseason action since they've been in the league. They played their first team offense 2+ series in all 3 games. They have, as an organization, decided the way we approach the preseason, the way we approach training camp did not prepare us for the actual season. So let's completely rip it up, throw it away, and start over. And you're right, or I guess I'm right. If they don't beat Cleveland, a team that doesn't have Quinshon Judkins, Joe Flacco's the quarterback, has one real offensive weapon, it'd be an absolute disaster, Frank. I think the Browns can keep it close. I don't think they can win.
It'll be fascinating to see because if Burrow looks bad again, like then it's like Zach Taylor and that entire organization emptied their bag of tricks to try to figure out what the hell is going on early in the season. And but Flacco has the ability to put in those rabbits out of his hats. We've seen him do it before with the Jets against the Browns that game where they
Yeah.
magically came back at the end. So Flacco has the ability. I don't know. You would know better than me. Like people say, players look great in practice and whatnot, but Flacco has the ability to like put together a great game. So if that happens, like the Bengals could absolutely lose. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But this, out of all the ones they've lost early this season, this one would feel like it'd be the worst, especially as you noted all the things they've done over the offseason
Yeah.
to try to right the ship and whatnot. Other games we're watching for: Giants, Commanders, Russell Wilson.
Giants are going to win this game, Frank.
They could.
They're going to win this game.
But what I really want to talk about with the Giants is how much hype Jackson Dart's. People are talking about Jackson Dart like he is the next surefire like future Hall of Famer. They're like
You're going overboard. But yeah, there's a lot of
they're like this guy's unbelievable. He's got command of the team. He's like not afraid of anything. They're like, it's like everything you hear about Jackson Dart is this guy is like the second coming of like Patrick Mahomes. That's what the vibe I've been getting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see like Russell Wilson's obviously a prideful veteran. He'll never say anything bad about anybody because that's just not the way he operates. But I mean, I'm curious to see if Russ struggles, how quick they push that Jackson Dart button. That's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to play in October. I'd be shocked if he's not the starting quarterback by October.
So you're operating on the assumption that Russ is going to suck.
No, I think Russ's ceiling is average, and Brian Daboll's job's on the line. He hand selected Jackson Dart if they had a choice of Cam Ward, then maybe he wouldn't have hand selected, but they had their choice of every other quarterback in the draft. He took Jackson Dart. Of all the coaches in football, Brian Daboll's on the short list of guys that I trust to develop a quarterback who has talent. You could say Daniel Jones. He got the most out of Daniel Jones for a guy who simply does not have enough talent to be a good quarterback in the NFL. And when you look at the ceiling of what Russell Wilson can bring, you kind of know what it is.
Super Bowl.
The offense, no, there was a Super Bowl 8 years ago. Now it's around a 500 quarterback. And with this defense, which I think could be really, really good, they don't have a ton of offensive weapons. Like Neighbors is awesome, but the rest of the team's kind of unknown in terms of their offensive weapons. You may just want to put the rookie in there if you think it's close because he has a higher ceiling. And you could start that developmental clock and getting him ready to be your long time, hopefully face of the franchise moving forward. And with Daboll, with Dart, with Wilson, man, Daboll's coaching for his job, Frank. If Wilson goes out there and balls, it's awesome. That's the best case scenario. But the truth of the matter is if he's playing just average ain't saving Daboll. Like they have to show something. And you know what you can show an owner? Hey, look at the progress this young rookie quarterback made over the final 8-9 weeks of the season. Even if we have won 7 of those games, we went 3-6. Look how much better he got. You know who's going to make him even better after an offseason in my training camp again? Me. So it's going to happen sooner than later. I'd be shocked if he's not the starter by week 8.
That's so you're but when you say that you're sort of operating on the assumption that Russ is going to be bad and the Giants are not going to have
Yeah,
a great record.
I think Russ will be fine. I think he'll be average. I think they'll be
Both
frisky.
if the Giants are 6-2 entering week
No,
after
then
8 games,
he stays. Then he stays.
so what does the record have to be? 4-4 or worse? What does it have to be?
I think if they're 3-5, if they're 4-4, I pull the trigger. If you're 4-4, you pull the trigger. I would. I would. Why wait? Like unless Russell Wilson's throwing for 400 yards and the defense sucks, and Russell Wilson's not the reason you're losing. But Frank, you know the records aren't all equal. There's
So
sometimes where their offense is pulling their weight and the defense isn't, and vice versa. Like, was it Joe Burrow's fault the Bengals didn't make the playoffs last year? No. So if you're winning games and Russell Wilson's not, I mean, hell, the Steelers benched Justin Fields last year and they were 4-1 or 4-2, whatever the record was. Like it doesn't. The record's less important than how does Russell look.
all right, we'll see. So week 1 you're saying win for the Giants. That's 1-0. Week 2 is at Dallas. Are you marking that down as a win or a loss?
At Dallas is tough. I kind of think they'll end up losing that game.
All right, so 1-1. So Chiefs at home, that's going to be a loss. So
Yeah,
that's 1-2. Home versus the Chargers.
I think he beat the Chargers.
2-2, 3-2 after a win at the Saints. Home versus the Eagles, that'll be a loss. 2-3 at the Broncos. 2-4 at the Eagles. 2-5.
No, I'm at 3-4 right now.
Good. Commanders win. Chargers win.
Chargers,
Saints win.
Saints,
All right, 3-4. That's going into a Week 8 matchup with the Eagles. So 3-5.
and then right there, done.
And then
Jackson
you're
Dart.
and then you're gonna start Jackson Dart against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep,
All right, good luck with
that's the plan.
that. So, in terms of other things in week 1, Michael Penix getting the full reins, first year as a starter. We'll see how he does. Daniel Jones, we'll see how quickly he gets benched in favor of Anthony Richardson. Ashton Genty, how he does in his first career game. Nothing with Cardinals Saints. Travis Hunter playing 2 ways for the Jaguars. Starting receiver, backup corner. What do you make of how the Jaguars are listing Hunter? Are they indicating that he's mainly going to be a receiver and play a couple snaps on defense?
I think it's a smokescreen. I have absolutely no idea. I know Liam Cohen, their new head coach, is an offensive guy, so he's going to get the most out of him as an offensive standpoint, but he may be better as a cornerback. I think he plays a good chunk on both sides. So I have no good read, Frank. I wish I did, but I don't have a good read.
Cam Ward is going to look absolutely horrible against the Broncos in his first career game. That's like one of the worst first games you could ever ask for against that Broncos defense with Surtain and Nick Bonito. That's a horrible matchup for him. McCaffrey got banged up. We'll see if he plays. And then other big matchup, Micah Parsons making his debut. There's been so much made about his back injury. How much is he going to play? How ready is Parsons going to be in week 1 in your mind?
He says he's fine. Back issues are so tough, man. I think he's hindered. I'm gonna be honest. I think he's been hindered for a couple of weeks. Not like can't play hindered, but I don't think we'll see the full Micah Parsons till week 4, 5, 6.
And then Ravens, Bills.
What a
What a
matchup.
monster matchup. Allen against Lamar. I have no idea who's going to win this game. I think that's a real coin flip. Honestly, the Monday night, that to me is one of the most interesting games of the week because it's our first look at JJ McCarthy. Basically missed all of last year. Who knows what the season Sam Darnold has, and McCarthy ends up being healthy. So Kevin O'Connell they're betting so much that McCarthy can just fill in and fill the shoes of Sam Darnold, and assuming that he can just step right in and fill that void. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. And then Caleb Williams under Ben Johnson, are we going to all of a sudden see a switch flip? Is he going to look like an elite quarterback, or is Caleb Williams just going to be a Trevor Lawrence type quarterback who shows flashes at times but never really puts it together? So I'm very interested to see. I think there's so much on the stake for those two teams, especially early in the season, to sort of set the tone.
Yeah, it's good of a Sunday night matchup as you could ask for to
And Monday
start.
night. Are you
Well, I was
talking?
talking about Sunday before I get to Monday. Sunday night before we get to Caleb Williams. I'm fascinated to see what Ben Johnson does to this offense. They had no fire, no funk, no spunk last year, and I think this dude is a mad scientist. But real quick, Frank, I think this is the year the Bills win the Super Bowl.
By the way, that's not true. The Bills, I'm telling you, anything associated with the Pagula family, bad luck. Jessica Pagula did not lose a set all U.S. Open, and then she goes out there in the semifinals, I want to say, and loses. So like the Bills can look great, and then when push comes to shove, and there's a huge matchup in front of them, when it really, truly matters, they will fall flat every single time. So many people are buying the Bills hype train. I'm telling you, there is something about the Buffalo aura that just breeds bad results.
So who are you picking to win the Super Bowl then? Last thing, let's run.
Uh,
Don't tell me you haven't made a Super Bowl pick. The season already started, you loser.
I don't know. It's really, really hard. I don't trust Lamar. I don't think the Eagles are going back to back. I don't trust the Bills.
So pick a
I guess I'm going with the Detroit Lions.
okay. Two new coordinators. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
And I hope it's Lions Chiefs. That's my Super Bowl prediction. Lions beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I got the Bills over the Pack.
I mean, everyone's like buying that
Yeah,
sweep.
but I made that pick like even before the Micah Parsons. I made that pick like a couple weeks ago. I'm all in on Jordan Love for whatever reason, and I'm probably going to be proven wrong and fall flat on my face, Frank. He has that weird it factor that I don't know how to describe, but when I watch him, I see a dude with incredible upside. I think Matt LaFleur is an incredible head coach, and their defense was a lot better in the second half of last season. Second year now under Jeff Happ with the new DC. Plus, you had Micah Parsons. I think this is a chance to be a really special season for Green Bay.
All right, that would do it for this edition of Lucas Podcast. Back next week as the Yankees. We'll see how they do against the Tigers and the Blue Jays. Season on the line. Let's go.
Fingers crossed.